A thrilling space adventure with talking trees, gunslinging raccoons, and lunatic brutes wasn't enough for director James Gunn in Guardians of the Galaxy. He just couldn't resist sprinkling in enough Easter eggs and cameos to warrant a second, third, and fourth viewing, as if we needed another reason to go and rewatch this awesome film. So, with it being Easter today, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just around the corner, we decided to present to you the top 10 Guardians of the Galaxy Easter eggs. Number 10. The Milano. The ship belonging to the legendary Star-Lord, the Milano, was confirmed by Gunn to be named after a popular young actress from the early 80s, Alyssa Milano. As you may or may not already know, Peter Quill was hugely influenced by the pop culture icons of his childhood, so naming his ship after his first crush was a nice touch. And it's also much more creative than the name given to his ship in the comics, which was simply ship. Number 9. Morag. This entry on the list is a little more obscure for your average viewer, and maybe even for most of the hardcore Marvel fans. The first planet we visit, aside from Earth, is Morag, a planet that is usually stormy and filled with vast oceans after thousands of years are finally low enough for our protagonist to get the orb and set off an adventure that will change his life forever. But the name Morag wasn't just something that Gunn pulled out of thin air, or if it was a massive coincidence. Morag, in the comics, was the first recorded leader of the Kree, and was responsible for starting the seemingly never-ending war between the Kree and the Skrull. Number 8. Nathan Fillion's monstrous inmate. Since he only lent his voice to the role, this cameo went mostly unnoticed, but the big pink inmate who found himself hanging from the living tree by his nostrils was voiced by none other than Firefly Captain Malcolm Reynolds. This is no surprise when you consider that Fillion has appeared in several other James Gunn films. He was the main character in Sliver and also made the unforgettable appearance as the Holy Avenger in Super. Yep, that's right, that's James Gunn himself playing Demon Swill. Number 7. No raccoons or tree creatures were harmed. This is a blink and you'll miss it Easter egg. Marvel made sitting through the credits worthwhile experience when they rewarded you for it back in 2008's Iron Man, and then again with all the subsequent films in their cinematic universe. Now it's hard to imagine a Marvel film without a little treat at the end of a long scroll of text, especially with how many visual effects artists they have these days. But the Guardians credits have a little extra gem for those who spot it, a disclaimer saying that no raccoons or tree creatures were harmed in the making of this film. Number 6. Nowhere. Nowhere is another deep cut for some, but glaringly obvious for any of the Guardians comic readers. A mere mining facility in the film, Nowhere is in fact the base of operations in the comic books. It's more than just a strange looking place with a funny spelling, it's actually the severed head of a Celestial, an ancient and powerful race who have existed since the start of the universe. They are responsible for the creation of a number of significant cornerstones in the Marvel universe. They not only created the Eternals, but they were also the catalyst for the rare human gene that causes mutations. The most devastating combination of this is the mutant Eternal, Thanos. You may have heard of him. If not, you will. Soon. Very soon. Number 5. The Tatari Dark Elf. Yet again, another easy to miss appearance sees both a Tatari, the invaders from the Avengers, and a Dark Elf, the old enemy of the Asgardians in Thor: The Dark World. While there are a lot of aliens in Guardians of the Galaxy, there must be none quite as rare as these two, because that's the only way you'll find yourself as a part of Tanalir Tavan's collection. But that's not the only thing hiding away in the collector's lair. In fact, the remaining Easter eggs and cameos are all from his collection, so... Number 4. Slivery Slimy Slugs. Before you start trying to say that over and over in your head 10 times fast, and trust me, that's how many times I had to say it to try and get this thing done, you might be interested in knowing where they're from. I can see you now scouring the Marvel wiki trying to find any reference to these small creatures, but you won't find anything because they're actually from one of James Gunn's earlier films, Sliver. Fun fact, Sliver came out in 2006 before the MCU kicked off and featured a post-credit scene. You see, Marvel, you didn't invent them. In fact, I don't think Sliver invented them either, but you get my point. Number 3. Cocoon. Before this film came out, lots of us fans were asking which characters would feature in this film. Near the top of a lot of fans' lists was Adam Warlock, an artificially created perfect man. After a brief run-in with the dastardly Mad Titan, Mr. Warlock found himself in need of resurrection, and how did he do it? Cocoon! No, not that. I'm not talking about the Ron Howard film from 1985. I'm talking about The Cocoon. The real question remains as to whether or not we'll see Adam Warlock at a later date. Number 2. Cosmo the Space Dog. There was no way this list could be done without an appearance from arguably the greatest telepathic Russian dog in modern literature. You may have found yourself asking, why is there a dog in a spacesuit in this film and you wouldn't have been alone? Although, in the film that includes a baby tree dance into the Jackson 5, were you really surprised? This strange little dog is actually a major part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The former Soviet space program test animal who found himself with telepathic powers was eventually in charge of security at Nowhere and a valuable ally to the Guardians. Number 1. Howard the Duck. Now when you get into debates with friends, family members, co-workers, random pedestrians, police officers, members of the cult, about who actually holds the mantle for being the first Marvel character to get a theatrical released film, who would you pick? Spider-Man? X-Men? Fantastic Four? Blade? Nope. I'm talking, of course, about Howard the Duck. Yes, that's right, Howard the Duck was the first feature film of a Marvel character. So, thanks to George Lucas for his original on-screen creation, and thanks to James Gunn for bringing him to life once again with none other than the voice of Seth Green. But that is it. That is our top 10 Guardians of the Galaxy Easter eggs. What did you think of this list? Did we include all your favourite Easter eggs or did we miss some out? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. It really helps this channel to grow. You can follow Tommy, who created this list, on Twitter at Mr. TT Green. Make sure you check out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when it hits theatres soon, and I will see you in the next video.